Hey there, it's turning out to be a really awesome day today in Wellington. It started out really foggy and overcast and drizzly this morning, and I was looking forward to shooting some stuff, but I thought there was no way I was going to get that done today. And then it's just cleared up and we've got this. Absolutely brilliant. So what I thought I'd do, seeing as it's coming to about an hour before sunset, was that I'd pop over to this local park that we've got here. It's got this beautiful stream down behind me, it's got trees and paths and walkways and stuff, and more importantly it's got some really great pools of bright light and fairly heavy shadow. Now the reason that's particularly cool at the moment is I'm going to take the GoPro 6, which is what I'm filming with now. I've got the RX100 Mark V with me. I have an iPhone 7 Plus and an iPhone 5S. I've got these 4 cameras here, and I'm going to try each one of them out shooting in their default modes, and then I'm going to have a go at turning them on to S-Log or D-Log or whatever flat file image they've got, and take them back and recolor them and see exactly how much of a difference each of these makes. The first camera I'm going to test is going to be the GoPro 6, and that's because it's the camera I'm vlogging on today. And the reason I'm vlogging with this one today is there's a little bit of breeze around and I've got the Rode microphone on it. Now as I test each of the others, I'll just use the onboard audio from those as well. So as a side test, we're going to get a bit of an audio comparison going on as well. It should be quite interesting. So, and I'm just going to start with the GoPro now. I have left the shutter speed on this one on auto for now. I was going to lock it off, but it actually makes quite a bit of difference. The GoPro uses the shutter speed quite a lot to alter the contrast and the light and the brightness coming in. So we'll have a look at that and see how much of a difference it makes. You'll see the auto contrast adjustment happen as the shutter speed increases and decreases. Old GoPros used to step that, so it would go bright and then it would step down quite a bit and step down quite a bit, and it was quite noticeable. I think on the GoPro 6 it's a lot more gradual than that. Let's go find out. Okay, so I'm going to try and run all of these cameras through pretty much standard set of motion and have a look at the same sort of shot and lightness for each one. I've also got stabilization turned on each camera. I just tend to leave that on anyway. So I'm taking that from the bright sky down into some darker areas here, then a bit of contrast over in the back here, and then some fairly contrasty shadow and bright sky again, and take that back up to where I started. Okay, for the next camera. Okay, this is running the GoPro again. This time I've turned ProTune off, so it's using the GoPro's preferred color palette and auto coloring. Most of the other settings should be pretty much the same. It's fairly auto, so here you go. Same sort of motion again, just to capture the same sort of thing. And back up to the beginning. Okay, now I'm using the RX100 to do the same thing. This first shot is with picture profile 7 picked. Now that's the default picture profile 7, which is the default S-Log settings on the RX100. It's quite a different lens, of course, so I'm making the motion a bit different, but I'm getting the same range of bits and pieces. Okay, now I'll do that again, but I'll change the profile. Here's the second shot with the RX100. Now looking in the viewfinder, I can see there's a massive difference on this already. That's the picture, and the highlights are a lot brighter and the shadows cut in a bit more. Now I've got the same auto exposure on here so as the GoPro, so you can see that it's changing itself as I bring it up and down, adjusting the exposure to get a fairly even shot. And there you go once again. Okay, so that's the first two done straight away. Going back over to grab my iPhone now. This is on the RX100 as well, by the way. So I'm going to grab the iPhone 7 first, and then I'll do the iPhone 5. So this is getting the same shot again, of course, this time with the iPhone 7. I'm shooting this in 4K 30 frames. It's a bit more limited into what you can pick and choose from. You definitely see the contrast stepped around a bit there, and it's definitely blowing out. Now this is the default setting for the phone. I don't know what else it can do. I'm just going to have a quick nosy at the settings. Okay, as you probably know, the iPhones of course don't have any sort of flat footage option to take, so it was actually a bit silly of me bringing them out, but it's still good to do a comparison. I thought that they did have some sort of dynamic range alteration or something like that, because there is the option to shoot HDR photos with them, and I just assumed that was going to be on the video as well. It's not. There are some applications you can get and download and put onto your iPhone which will shoot a flat footage or S-Log type footage for you. But I don't have those on there at the moment. I might grab them later on and have a look and do a bit of a review and see how good they are. Typically when I'm using the iPhone for video, it's something that I just pull out my pocket and grab spontaneously. I just rip it out, swipe sideways, hit video and start recording straight away. I don't have a lot of time to do something else because it's spontaneous, and if I did, I'd get the RX100 out. So anyway, I'm going to take these back now. I'm going to pull the footage in and see what the difference is between shooting in Pro Tunes on the GoPro compared to not shooting Pro Tunes, and on the RX100 what it's like shooting S-Log as opposed to just a default color modes. Now there is a reason for doing all of this. I've been playing around with the GoPro 6 and trying to figure out what the best settings are to get the best image quality out of it. That more, to coin a very overused phrase, cinematic look out of it. I have to be fair and say, seeing as the two GoPros didn't have the flat image format, I kind of felt like I've shortchanged this video a wee bit, so I'm grabbing two more cameras. Down here I've got the OSMO and the BlackMagic 4K. Both of those do both modes, so I'll take those over. Now while I was just sorting these other two cameras out, the sun seems to have dropped behind a bit of a cloud, so I'm not going to get a perfectly good comparison, I don't think. Though there is a chance the sun is going to come back out again for a minute for me. I better hurry up and get over to the stream again. Okay, so first I'll shoot this one with the OSMO in normal mode. The OSMO of course is a brilliant little camera for doing this kind of motion with. And bring it back up and around, getting the same sort of thing as before, and there we go. It does give us a pretty beautiful image out of it, I have to say. And then I will just switch it over to its D-Log mode. Now the OSMO has two settings here. It has D-Cine-like and D-Log. I'm going to use the D-Log option at the moment because I think that's going to be closer to what we're getting with the other ones. Okay, so that was the OSMO. The last camera I've got here to try, I won't be able to bring any more over because I've got almost no light left, is the BlackMagic 4K. Now the BlackMagic 4K is my workhorse for doing film work and video work and bits and pieces where I can. I do find that I'm picking it up less and less when I've got the RX100 and doing more of this spontaneous type film work that I do, but I do love using this thing. I just need more time with it. I don't think I need to tell you that that's going to be a little bit shaky. That camera is a hell of a lot heavier than anything else. The other thing of course is it's using a fully manual lens at the moment, so I don't have any autofocus running on that or anything, so it's going to be interesting. Okay, let's head back, capture all of the stuff and the other stuff, do some color correction grading on it and see how it comes out. I think I'm going to be calling this video a curious comparison of completely different cameras. Something like that anyway. Okay, I've pulled that footage in and I've had a look at it and I've done a very, very rough grade. Yep, I know the colour's crap, but that's not where I was going with that. What I've done is I've pulled down some of the high level stuff and pulled up a little bit of the base in the dark areas. And I've done that so that I can show that there is a bit more detail in those spaces that would otherwise normally be flattened out. In each of the shots, as I go past the stream, for example, you can see in the graded flat footage, as opposed to the default footage, there's a lot more detail in the stuff in the water. In the clouds that are getting blown out in some images, there is more detail and fluffiness in the clouds, and there's some texture in there, which is really important. And same in the shadows, even when it's still quite black, instead of it being all data noisy, there's a little bit of texture of the leaves and things, even when it's still crushed blacks. So that's the kind of thing I wanted to see in there. The summary of it all, I guess, is an absolute no-brainer that if you're shooting in a flat mode like D-Log or S-Log or Cinematone or whatever it is that your camera's got that's the equivalent of a flat video tone, you are going to get a higher dynamic range of data to work with in post. You're going to have to learn how to use that stuff, and I'll be covering some more of that in vlogs coming up. But it's worth it, and it's worth that little bit of time. Once you learn how to do that and save some presets for your cameras, for the way you've got your camera set up, you can actually use those presets and saved grades on your video over and over again. It's really quick. Anyway, I'm going to leave that there for now. Tomorrow I've got some more fun stuff to do. I've got that package over there that arrived. I'm going to open that up in the morning. I think I know what's in that. And I think I might do a giveaway in the next video as well. So pop along, watch this, subscribe if you haven't, click the like button, share it with all your friends, help me get to that magic 1,000 subscribers. And I'll be giving something away tomorrow. I'll show you what it is.